Money is like gravity. It goes from a place of, actually, money is like gravity. It goes from the sky to the ground. No, actually, let me money is like
My AI has broken, guys. What happened to Varun?
money is like electricity. It goes from a place of higher potential to lower potential. It goes from a place of
Just
high
open
IQ to low IQ.
ChatGPT and put it in and give me the best option that it produces. Self-driving car. I saw this video, it kind of blew my mind. Of all the cars I thought that would be self-driven, I did not think an Alto would be self-driving. Can someone explain how he's doing this? The tweet says, my second-hand Redmi Note 9 Pro running Flow Pilot is driving my Alto K10. How?
So I called the guy, by the way, right after this. I saw his tweet before it went viral. I think it went viral on LinkedIn a few months ago, though. I called him. I said, hey, do you want to come work with us shamelessly? He said no, he's working on his own stuff. But I got to learn a little bit. I don't understand, self-driving so well. But what he seems to have done is there's this open source project called Open Pilot by George Hotz. He's the engineer who went to Twitter, got left in a few weeks, said I'll fix search and then had to leave. So he ran this thing called Comma AI. So it uses your car's cameras. Many cars have cameras, or Comma AI itself comes with a camera system. It looks around your surrounding and then it says, okay, this is how I should move the car. So what this guy did is he built on top of it, right? He built on top of Comma AI's Open Pilot. It's called Flow Pilot. And then he said, I will use one camera because the Alto K10 doesn't have cameras. I will use one camera from the Redmi Note 9 and I will use that data, feed it into the car, and then the steering wheel will make adjustments accordingly. That's my understanding of what happened. And I think it's incredible because just last week, Nitin Gadkari came and said we will not allow self-driving in India because he said that self-driving is bad and should be banned and drivers will lose their jobs. And just next week, I see this thing floating around. So yeah, it's incredible that we are able to do this, but regulatory wise, I don't think it's going to fly.
Also, I'm not trusting a fucking phone hooked up to my rear view mirror.
Yeah, if it starts updating, then that's that.
At least if it's an iPhone, I'd have more trust on it.
I mean, I don't think this is like a commercially ready prototype. You can't drive it in.
But I think to make it a point, he actually said that it's a second-hand Redmi Note 9.
Yeah, it's just to show you that we're at the bottom, but it's fine.
Dude, this is wildly risky, no? And he's not even he's not even driving in like this city.
But he's there, he's sitting there.
He's sitting there.
It's pretty cool though.
Dude, we haven't figured out manned driving yet. Where we'll figure out self-driving?
Yeah, but I think there is a myth that self-driving will not work in India. I think at some point it will work. It might not work everywhere in India. And of course, if two people start fighting in front of you, the car will just stop. It won't know what to do. But I think, see, a computer reacts much faster than a human being. It can see in slow motion technically. Even Elon Musk is pretty bullish. He's like, to a computer, everything is in slow motion. The only problem is how to react to certain commotion in road that, even humans don't know. Like if people start fighting in front of you, what do? You just pick up your phone and start scrolling reels, or you watch the fight. The car is just going to be stalled for that period. I think that's the main issue. Self-driving is not going to give us speed benefits because people are going to be fighting and all that.
Computers react great to some sort of predictable behavior, right?
The entire point of machine learning is to take unpredictable environments and figure out how to navigate them.
But there has to be some sort of underlying pattern that you're able to spot.
There is an underlying pattern. Even in Indian roads, there's an underlying pattern.
Really?
It could actually happen on highways and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not saying everywhere. When people think India, people think very unidimensionally. They think either it's some, dumpster, like it's some really bad place, or it's like, highways of Delhi or whatever. I'm saying India is like multiple places. And I think some of those places, you can't take a self-driving car and it'll just push you into manual mode. It'll be like, I can't understand this environment. And some places like highways, I'm pretty sure it can, continue to drive for you in a certain way.
Yeah, I think a self-driving car, once it goes on a highway, it will refuse to go back into the city.
But I think regulatory wise, it won't be allowed. It's too many jobs.
Why don't you call Nitin Gadkari and ask him if he wants to work with you? Is this what you do? Every tweet that goes viral, you just ping them and be like, hey, come, let's start a company.
No, I wanted this guy to come help us with hardware. He's a very smart person. He's just working on some project of his own, so he's already committed. But it's my job to find good talent, I guess.
Dude, this one guy replied saying, "My Redmi Note barely launches Instagram. How is it driving your car?"
Classic Indian comment.
Yeah, that too second-hand Redmi Note, dude.
Yeah.
This is not like a technical demo; it's a statement.
If you buy a brand new Alto, it comes to you second hand. So this is like second hand Redmi and second hand Alto. A first hand Alto looks like second hand Alto.
Nice.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Sid, explain what is mobile Aloha?
This is basically sort of a open source robotic system that basically does a lot of different tasks. So it makes coffee for you, it chops your vegetables, it folds your clothes, it makes your bed. And the cool part about this is that these guys open source this entire model. So you can actually order parts and you can actually set it up at your house. It's just that it costs like a bomb. But the code and everything is pretty much open source. So I'll just play this video. So it cracks eggs. It does all these kind of delicate movements. And the way this thing basically learned is by showing it videos of humans do the same kind of tasks.
There are manual pieces to using the mobile Aloha thing. Like people these days have gotten very used to making demos that make the thing look very flattering, but there is some human effort behind the scenes from what I read.
So you can actually use it in both ways. So that there are things that it does by itself, and there are things that it does where a human actually is involved in making it do things as well.
Tanmay, would you buy a robot?
I don't know. I think a Didi costs like 20K a month and she can make unlimited omelets.
Yeah, but this is like dollars, $40,000.
Yeah, until it's cheaper than Didi, it's hard to make a case for robot. I think Nitin Gadkari is going to ban this also.
That's the problem with banning self-driving cars. It's not that, jobs won't be saved. Of course, jobs will be saved. But I think when you ban self-driving cars, then you have to ask yourself, okay, do I ban cooks? Do I ban maids? Do I ban every job role from AI automation? Because at some point, like this year is going to be the year of robotics, in my opinion, and putting AI in robotics is going to be like the easiest thing to do. It's not easy, but it's the obvious thing for manufacturers to do. So what are we going to do? Like just ban this because we're like, this takes too many jobs. Then you're becoming a jobist, right? Because you're saying these jobs you can't remove, these jobs you can remove. Software engineers bhaad mein jao, but I understand the scale differences, right? I know that the number of drivers is far more in quantity. But the thing is, the minute you say no AI, then, well, they're technically using AI for navigation. So many drivers will technically be using a version of AI for navigation in the future.
Using AI to navigate means that guy on the road who says, aage jaake right lena, his job is fully disrupted now.
It's not just that, right? It's like they're anyway using AI, but you're not allowing AI for the entire thing. So it gets like very dicey, which is like which jobs do you protect, which jobs do you not protect?
Which job would you trust a robot more with? Or would you want a robot to do more? Drive or cook?
Right now, I would prefer it to cook. Actually, right now, I would not prefer robots in my house for a bit. I would just prefer them to be entertainment because we're not there yet. But what I'm saying is there will be some point like 5, 10, 20 years down the line where it gets good enough where everyone trusts the robots enough, right? And the thing is, these decisions of do you ban this, do you not ban this, we have to make now for technology that's going to rapidly improve. And then you'll just find that there's a major efficiency uptick the minute you get like self-driving, right? Like, and we might have to remodel some of the roads for that, right? But you get such a major efficiency uptick that the question is on you whether you want to keep India away from that efficiency uptick. And there's a big debate. A lot of people in my comments are like, yeah, these sort of jobs need to be protected. The other people are like, dude, till now, every technological progress that's happened in India, people have been like, no, this should not be allowed in the country. Like every technological progress, somebody or the other said this should not be allowed in the country. So there's like this big debate. And the thing is, I don't know what the right answer is, but I do think we have to be compassionate. There was a time where I would have said, yes, self-driving cars, we should get that. Robots, we should get that. But now it's like the number of jobs that will actually go and those people get displaced with nothing to do and they can't upskill on time. And what are the jobs they even go to? Even if they go to another job, what if that gets disrupted a few weeks later? Like, how do they live and how do they survive?
What happened? In 2 weeks, what happened to you?
Nothing happened, but self-driving is like a lot of number of jobs gone.
But would compassion really matter on the face of efficiency?
I'll tell you something. Logistics costs India 14% of its GDP, right? And that's internal logistics. I don't have the difference between internal and external logistics, but let's assume internal is a big chunk of that. You're losing so much, like, which used to go into salaries and truck driver salaries, and it's just too many jobs. What do those people do? You can't disrupt society like that because people are just going to pick up sticks and be like, hello.
You know, after hearing Varun have a change of heart, you know, and Varun being the first robot who I befriended, I don't dislike robots as much now.
Tanmay is changing side. Tanmay is like, now we should do.
Now, hey, if robots can change, then I don't mind it.
I think we should do it slowly. I think you can't disrupt so many jobs that quickly. You need to do it slightly slowly and be like, okay, do we have UBI? Do we have some way these people will be fine? There's some upskilling, because it's not good for society to have so many unemployed people walk around with a stick.
Dude, as a country, we are still not equipped to deal with OTPs. Okay? I don't even know how we are going to deal with robots. Like, for example, this 22-year-old colleague of mine, he works with me. He got an SMS yesterday from what he thought was a bank. Except, you know, when a bank sends you SMS, it says like IndusInd or HDFC on top. Like the sender says HDFC, right? Like your telecom service provider only labels them as the official name of the bank. He got it from a number and it said that 50,000 rupees has been credited into your account name, which is XXXXXX8975. And he was like, shit, like, oh, who sent me this money? Then suddenly he gets a call from that number saying, listen, I sent you this money by mistake. Could you please transfer it back? So him being an honest guy, he transferred the money back. And then he realized that the first message came from not a bank. It just came from an SMS. And it just looked like it came from a bank. And money never got credited. So he just sent someone 50K on UPI.
Money is like gravity. It goes from a place of... Actually, money is like gravity. It goes from the sky to the ground. No, actually, let me read. Money is like...
My AI has broken, guys. What happened to Varun?
Money is like electricity. It goes from a place of higher potential to lower potential.
Just open ChatGPT and put it in and give me the best option that it produces. Don't think.
Yeah.
My point is, we are still dealing with OTP. Okay, all of this is.
You should not read your messages. There are too many scammers. Like, I don't know why people even read their text messages. It's just scam. WhatsApp, it requires some effort to get a WhatsApp number to send out messages. And Meta can ban you pretty quickly. With normal SMS, it's just scam. Like, I've never opened my SMS I haven't opened it in like 6 months. There's nothing that important in your SMSs. It'll appear, if there's something important, it'll appear on your email also.
That's true.
Yeah, my SMSs are mostly almost 100% KYC related stuff.
I think the next slide is also KYC related.
Even KYC is getting disrupted, Tanmay. Next slide.
How does this work? What is this?
So, Tanmay, with Stable Diffusion now, there's a new technology called IP Adapter Face ID. Okay. Now, I don't think this particular image is using Face ID, but they're still using IP Adapter or some form of IP Adapter where you're able to feed it an image from the Aadhaar card or whatever, and then it will make you a person that sort of looks like the Aadhaar card, enough to fool any KYC system.
So it can replicate a photo. So if I give it a photo and say, now take this person and put them in XYZ.
Yeah. So the text there was photoshopped, right? Or you can use ControlNet. You basically use a font that looks like handwriting. But yeah, you can fool verification posts pretty well. Even with video, I think you can fool it with deepfakes. And the only thing, the dangerous part now is I can take a picture from your Aadhaar card and I can make a character that looks sort of like it. So even your KYC thing that you said in the last few seconds is getting disrupted. I think we will go back to physical KYCs for a bit as this gets more rampant. Because the problem is the scammers haven't got a hold of Stable Diffusion yet.
You can still do KYC with, your official documentation is with the government, right? Like so far.
No, sometimes forgot password requires you to put up an image. Like, I don't know if you know, but some of these brokers, you can do forgot password with, hey, here's an image of me and I'm asking for a password.
Yeah, that feels like that could be 100% disrupted. But like, okay, now for example, like I'd say about a year ago, zero knowledge KYC technology is officially available, right? Like most of India's documentation is on DigiLocker, and if third-party apps want to ping it, you can now use zero ZK to ping, and not even third-party apps don't even need your actual data, but they can still verify that you're a real person and get away with it. But all video KYC stuff is like, yeah, I can see how that's a problem now.
Yeah.
But more importantly, tell me how I can show one face and replicate it in different situations.
So there's this new technology now called IP adapter Face ID. I don't think this one's using IP adapter Face ID. So now you put pictures of yourself and you can get a reasonable thumb. Like we were using it for YouTube thumbnails, but you can get a reasonable looking this thing. In fact, I'll show you. I'm just loading it up.
Show properly. How can you put my face and replicate?
Yeah. So earlier when we made Alpha CTR, what was happening was we do basically it would get your face likeness, but it wasn't getting your face structure.
Structure, yeah.
Right? Even Midjourney doesn't get your face structure well. Like there's something off about your face structure with Midjourney. But now IP adapter Face ID gets your face structure reasonably well. So I'll show you. You'll like it. Let me just load this.
I'll show you a real-time deepfake tool after this, which I found out, which is pretty insane.
You should do that. This will take 2 minutes to load up.
So, talking about deepfakes, this is basically a deepfake tool that kind of runs on Stable Diffusion Turbo, which is like a very fast model of Stable Diffusion. So I can basically type anyone over here. Let's say I type Shah Rukh Khan, and I turn on my camera, and I click turn on. Now check this out.
I think consistency needs to be changed. I have a question though. Like I have an interesting idea. What if you did this in VR?
I saw this, but this is really bad, guys. Like this is not. It's not there.
It's not consistent.
It's not consistent.
It's not there yet. It's not there yet.
It's not there.
It's not stable.
I want to know how to upload an image of yourself and have an AI model put you into different things, because that's not good yet. But Varun's thumbnails here have gotten way better.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what I'm doing. Kind of revealing secrets, but it's fine. So there's this thing called IP adapter Face ID. So this is Comfy UI. This is a nice little node editor for Stable Diffusion and related technologies. So here I can load the IP adapter. It's called Face ID SDXL. So I'm using the SDXL version. And then there's a LoRa also for it, which is a low rank adaptation. It's like a small, adapter on top of the original model that does the face modification. It's called IP adapter Face. And then I'm choosing a base model. It's called Yammer's Perfect Design or something. And then I'm also adding another LoRa, which I really liked, called Dual Pistols, which gives a nice little effect.
I'm pretending like I'm understanding all of this, but sure.
Yeah, then I pass it with an empty image. Then I apply the Face ID. The only difference is I'm applying it twice. And then one interesting that I'm doing, just to get the face consistency a little better, is I'm face swapping it at the end again, and then upscaling that, restoring that basically. That's it. That's the flow. Now, if I want, I can also, use ControlNet and make it look like some image that you really like.
Can you, now that you've taken my face, can you put me and make me a different image with my face that is accurate?
Yeah, I'm doing that. It's loading. Let's see how it comes out. I'm using all three pictures, same picture, Tanmay. I can use different pictures also. Yeah, so I'll show you some pictures I've generated. So some of these look weird.
This is pretty funny, but pretty lifelike.
This one. These are all generated. This is a cartoon version.
It looks a little caricature-ish.
Yeah, I made it caricature.
Oh, you fucking wish.
Then I made one more where I'm eating food. And I prompted 30-year-old man in this.
Nice.
But I don't actually look 30, which is good. Like
When
30 makes it look too old.
Yeah, when you turn 30, do you develop 3 extra fingers?
Yeah.
Hey, okay. This isn't too bad. This isn't too bad.
Yeah, so this is a different model.
Oh, this is fairly accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some models do it better. Some models do it worse. But it's more or less solved. Like I would say, there's a good.
This is also decent. Wow, did you add give me a jawline in each of these images?
No, I just put up old pictures of myself. I don't have any new pictures. I need to take some.
Yeah, you have to have a bath for that, Varun.
So yeah, this is comfy for those that want a refresher. You can start on YouTube, but it's every day this changes, so it's a big headache to.
By the way, we actually teach 2 weeks of Comfy on our generative AI cohort. So it's just 2 weeks of pure Comfy, different kinds of custom workflows, how to make these kind of
You teach
complicated
beginner and
things
advanced?
that you see on the screen. Yeah, beginner and advanced.
And if
Multiple things.
if you don't get help in learning, is it quite uncomfy?
We'll make it comfy for you.
By the way, your thumbnail's out. You want to see the thumbnail?
Yeah, let's watch the thumbnail.
What do you think, Tanmay?
Oh, not bad. Fuck, not bad at all.
From the input images, got it pretty nicely.
Yeah. Can you input another this thing saying man eating food or something like that? Like take something else.
Brown, 30-year-old man eating
Noodles.
noodles. This is another one. It generated a new one. Not bad, no?
Not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've used a LoRa that gives it this nice vibe. It feels like one of those professional movie shoots, you know, like a movie poster type movie shoots.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
There you go. See, it's getting your face structure a little better. This looks cartoony for some reason. 30-year-old, slightly heavy man. Sorry, Tanmay. The pictures I'm using, your face will be too big otherwise.
At least thanks for using slightly at least.
Yeah, you're not, I mean, you're just, you're tall.
It's just nothing you say is going to save this conversation now. Just generate the image.
Give some better prompt.
Varun Maya, piece of shit, standing next to said man.
Brown, 30-year-old, slightly heavy man.
It's not generating brown at all, by the way.
No, it is wearing futuristic white jacket as a pilot on a plane.
This is better than what we've gotten previously.
Yeah. If you give me better pictures of yourself, I can get better outputs.
Oh, nice.
So this is not bad, no?
Oh, this is not bad.
You just need to put text on it. So we'll put this in Alpha CTR, which has the text component as well.
This looks a little weird.
Yeah.
The eyes.
Sometimes it generates weird things. And also I know how now how to make images look little less AI. Like after the image is produced, you add a little bit of grain on it. So in Comfy, I'm making the workflow where you can add a little bit of grain on it.
Yeah, not on
Not
this
bad,
picture, please. No, fuck off. This looks nothing like me.
Okay. Let me change this.
Are we doing this exercise just to insult me? That's the feeling I'm kind of getting right now.
No.
I feel like you guys are trying to roast me by even suggesting that this square SpongeBob square Tanmay is me.
It looks like a cartoon version of you. Let's do this. Man as James Bond. Red background. James Bond holding dual pistols. You
Yeah.
see this?
Oh, this one is pretty nice. Yeah. James Bond is pretty nice.
Dude, Tanmay, you can use this as like a thumbnail right now. You just need to clip this out and in the back you need to put some text.
Okay, got it. So it has gotten better.
Yeah.
It's gotten better for sure.
And if you give me more images of you, right, I can chain like 10 different IP adapters. And I can just make like this looks fairly good in my opinion.
No, it doesn't. But like, who holds gun like this? Like,
Wait, I'll show you another one. I'll show you something else. Wearing a magenta suit. This is a completely different model, okay? So these outputs will look very, very different. This is where we started putting your pictures. Before this, by accidentally, I put one of my pictures as well. So these are where it started. For some reason, these came out
It's getting
cartoony.
the structure very nicely.
Yeah. This model is nice, the one I'm using right now. It'll look very realistic. The model I was using right now is trained on some 3D stuff and all that. Till now that we were using. This one is trained only on human pictures. My bet is that in the next 6 months, you won't have to go take pictures. Because you'll get, like even now, if you give me enough time and I have enough, Face ID adapters, it'll take more time to generate an image. But let's say if I have 6 of them in a row, then and 6 images of you, then I can get the face structure fairly accurately. What do you think?
It's better. It's a more realistic.
This is nice. It still can't get the hands right though.
Oh, no, this looks like you, Tanmay. A little bit.
Yeah, actually.
It looks a little bit like me. Yeah, that much though. It will be a little bit like me.
No, it looks like you.
No, it doesn't look. It looks like me, not a lot like me. It looks like me.
No, dude, it looks like you only.
Dude, like if we show this picture to someone and say that who's this, they'll obviously
Yeah,
say
it looks like me. Yeah, I agree. It looks like me. Is it that accurate? This one is not bad. Are we just going to ignore the 4 fingers I have and like are we just going to pretend like, oh, this is not bad. This is not bad. This is pretty good.
By the way, there's something I want to show. So we basically did a video for the
Yes.
GenAI cohort. Did you happen to see it?
Play the video, no?
चैट जीपीटी का कोर्स ले लो 10 रुपए का चैट जीपीटी का कोर्स
15 रुपए का प्रीमियम चैट जीपीटी कोर्स ले लो प्रीमियम चैट जीपीटी कोर्स
मुझे कोर्स लेना था आई वॉन्ट टू लर्न AI
मेरा कोर्स ले लो मेरा कोर्स ले लो मेरा कोर्स
Stop taking these useless ChatGPT courses. Learn how to build real products and projects using GenAI. उसी में तो फायदा है. Look over there.
At 100x, we are serious about generative AI. We play with it every single day, and our engineers have shipped the first Gen AI products to come out of India. We're doing a free live masterclass on Intro to Gen AI, where you will learn about AI models like LLMs, diffusion models, fine-tuning these models, autonomous agents, and much more. This is actual Gen AI engineering, not just ChatGPT. Join us on the 12th of January at 6 p.m. It's completely free. Register here.
It's an interesting ad.
So I just wanted to show that robot part. That is something that we did using a normal camera, using an iPhone. And we used this tool called Wonder Studio. The cool part about Wonder Studio is, have you guys seen this movie called Ready Player One? So this guy is basically one of the co-founders, the lead actor in the movie. The guy who plays the role of Parzival. The guy who eventually, okay, I don't want to spoil it. But basically, the lead guy, he is one of the founders.
No way, really?
Yeah, that's actually him.
Dude, Spielberg is on the board.
Joe Russo is also on the board.
Oh, that's crazy.
So this guy loved working on the movie. He got really into like VFX and things like that. And he's like, I want to start a company in this. And what this tool does is pretty magical. So this is the final footage, but the way people arrived at this is using something like this. It's normal footage of a dude and it does mocap for you. Mocap is short for motion capture.
There's one more new one coming out called Simulon that does it straight in the iPhone. So I'm very excited for that.
But I'll show you what's the cool part. So there's one scene where this robot is sort of jumping. That is something that we basically
It's a very tough shot to do.
So this is just the robot jumping, but the original shot was basically just Spider-Man. So it kind of figured out the motion capture of Spider-Man, and we put the robot skin on top of it.
Oh, and you've used Runway ML to extract just the Spider-Man, is it?
Yeah.
So how much longer, Sid, before instead of the robot, we can put anything?
So these guys have to basically release models. So if you actually go to home, you can actually see their pre-made models. And the thing is, right now, you can't really create your custom models. All you can do is basically make your own stuff.
I thought you could though.
No, so there is another tool called Move1, which is a tool that is available only on iPhones. Move1 does pretty much the same thing. You record yourself on an iPhone, it does mocap for you. Now, what that does is it gives you a file that you can actually export into your Unreal Engine or Blender or whatever your 3D morphing platform is. And there you can create your own custom characters and actually put those on the mocap. So the robot was basically just me walking in. Like, this is the original footage.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
The next thing, okay, again, I'm slightly deviating from the slide. So this is a tool called Liftoff. You can basically use it to do mock interviews. So you can basically do a mock tech interview. Let's say you want to apply to Google or Amazon or any of these companies and you want to simulate an interview sitting in your home. So I can click whatever kind of interview I want, whether it is technical or like soft skill based. And what it essentially gives me is something like this. So if I hit record, this dude will ask me a question and I have to answer it. So I'm going to answer it in a bad way so that we can see what feedback it gives me.
Tell me about yourself. Why don't you walk me through your resume?
Hi, I'm Sid and I work at 100x Engineers and I've been working for 10 years and I'm good at what I do. So now it basically transcribes whatever I've said and it gives me feedback. So it exactly transcribed what I said and now this is the feedback. The candidate's response to the question, tell me about yourself, is quite brief and lacks structure. The response does not provide any substantial information about the candidate's professional background, blah, blah, blah. Does not use any structured frameworks such as STAR or PAR to organize their response.
Okay, it's not real time. It's not a real time interview. It just gives you feedback on. So it's just transcribing your video and telling you what it thinks of it.
So the thing is, I clicked on transcribe right now. I could have just resumed after giving the answer. So it would have asked me like more questions.
And
Yeah, but all it's
further.
doing is transcribing the video and using GPT at the back end. It's just responding to it like it's supposed to give you feedback.
Pretty much, yeah.
So Google interviews and all these FANG interviews have a certain kind of a format that they follow. So it is basically trained and fine-tuned on these kind of interviews. It has basically probably given it a data set of successful interviews of these companies. So it is able to provide you with that kind of relevant feedback.
Okay, so maybe for like a technical interview, it probably makes sense. But otherwise, you can just create a GPT, no? You can just create a GPT that says, give me feedback on interviews.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, interview is all about being in front of the camera and, being confident and all that. Sure, I can sit in my laptop and I can type it out, but when you're there, it's a whole different game.
I think when you know you're interviewing with a GPT, you feel less anxious. When you know you're interviewing with a human being, you feel more anxious.
Yeah, but did you see the human here? Hi, tell me a little bit about yourself. Walk me through your resume. I don't feel like I'm with a...
It's not the best. It's not the best.
In real life, it would be some lala who's like, bhai, bol de.
Blah. This is a gimmicky tool. I won't use it. It's not actually useful.
But I'll tell you where it might be useful, Tanmay. If I was interviewing someone, this is a lazy way to do it, but if I was interviewing someone, if I was interviewing a lot of people for a role, let's say a junior level role, then I'd just make them do one of this and then I'd see the transcript only.
Yeah.
Like I'd ask you to pre-score it or something.
I mean, why don't you just email them questions?
They won't respond. That's the problem. And you also want to see visually how they respond. Are they like, in general, you can tell, right? When somebody, like I use this tool called HireWire to do interviews now, where it's a video CV tool. Because I'll tell you the problem. The problem with the resumes is resumes are, you insert certain keywords in them to beat tools that accept resumes. Right? And platforms that accept resumes. They'll be like, okay, this guy knows SQL, so we'll put him on top. So I think the real way to have always judge candidates is on what they say and how their interview goes. That should be like 99% of the process. And I think we weren't able to do that at scale because how do you process so many interviews, right? That's why I use a resume. It's like a shortcut. But now this combination of your resume, what you've done in the past, which you can also say in an interview. Now, because you can transcribe, do it real time, have a real time interview happen without you being there, you can actually give thousands of candidates the same opportunity that you gave candidates in the era of resumes where everyone puts their resume and then it's like a sort of like a keyword mining system, right? Like whoever has the best keyword sort of gets the next round. Here you give everyone fairness in a way, even though people feel like, oh, interviewer is not talking to me, so why should I even take the time to respond? But hey, you can respond at your own convenience whenever you want, and you sort of beat the unfairness of the resume system. So I think there's promise, but also I think this tool is a gimmick. Yeah, for feedback and all, you shouldn't take feedback from AI. It's not going to have the cultural context of India, especially.
Correct.
But from the POV of a recruiter, something like this can act as the first round of screening, basically.
Yeah.
Like I can get from a list of 100 people to 20 people using something like this.
Yeah. We use a tool called HireWire to do this. It's pretty decent. You guys should check it out.
It's okay, guys. Next. What's the next tool?
Perplexity. Perplexity is basically a search engine that is officially sort of call the shots for competing against Google. They're saying that they're going to try and make Google dance. That's literally what the CEO said.
Why everyone wants to make Google dance, bro? Microsoft also wants to make Google dance. Perplexity also wants to make Google dance. Sundar Pichai is like, मैं सुंदर पिचाई हूँ, सुंदर नचा ही नहीं. That was a good joke. That was a good joke. Come on.
Jeez.
So the way Perplexity AI is different is it basically, so let's say that I want to do top 10 places to eat in Mumbai. It gives me answers in this kind of a format. But the thing is, so if I do the same thing in Google, it does the same. But the thing is, in Google, it all depends on who ranks for the best SEO. It's like a pretty competitive market over here. Here, the difference is the real value of using Perplexity over Google comes only when you use it consistently, because it actually takes into account, it's very conversational. So it has context of whatever you're asking it. So the results are basically very much fine-tuned to whatever your preference is, whatever your past search history is. And it doesn't show you ads. That's basically what their proposition is. I don't think they're going to make Google dance though.
Perplexity is interesting, but I don't know. I feel like ChatGPT will do this. Like, I really like the value prop and the idea and whatnot, right? Like, I also think the founder's very smart. So I think they will eventually build something very unique and differentiated and whatnot. We use Perplexity for some scripting at this point. So it's very useful. The only problem is, I feel like if this gets really, really big, a ChatGPT will be like, hey, they're eating my lunch, and they might, pivot a little bit, or maybe have this offering as one of the GPTs or something. But I do know that Perplexity now has their own custom model. So that it's not just them using ChatGPT and then, just feeding it references and data. They're now working on their own model as well. So just like ChatGPT can become them, Perplexity can also become ChatGPT in a way. I have the Perplexity app on my phone. So I actively use it, and I use it far more than I use the ChatGPT app. So, yeah.
Why is it that much better than ChatGPT?
Dude, it gives you references. Like, ChatGPT hallucinates a lot. Perplexity, anything it says, will give you a reference. So I can look through the original article and wherever it found it from and be like, okay, it's not bullshitting. So it's a little less hallucinatory in that sense.
Do you think it's better than searching on Google though?
Do I think it's better than searching on Google? Dude, I use both. Like, I feel like people are very quick to say that guy died, this guy win. I think smart people end up using all tools, no?
Fair. All right, interesting stuff from CES. But did you guys see Rabbit?
Yeah, this thing was all over my Twitter and I didn't get the big deal about it. Can someone explain to me why this is a big deal? Actually, yeah, first play the video.
It's a pretty long video. So what I'll do is I'll show you the 1-minute version that we did on 100x.
Is the Rabbit AI R1. It's an AI personal assistant. But what can you do with it? You can play music. You can book a cab.
Can you ride from my office to home now?
Please confirm the ride.
Or you can plan an entire trip.
Exploring ticketing options to make your trip a reality. For your trip, I found various flight options.
You press a button and give it commands like play me this song or book me a trip, and it will plan your entire trip for you. You just have to press confirm. It can search images and also generate images using Midjourney if you integrate it. It also has a built-in camera that actually rotates, which I think is one of the coolest things that you can find on a physical device. And you can get this for only $200. For more AI stuff, follow 100x.
Yeah, it's basically a physical AI assistant. That's what it is. But I don't think there's anything on it that you can't get on that you can't put on a phone, honestly.
I'm very bullish on the team. I'm very bullish on the company and the people. I think the product's not a great. The product looks very good. It's made by Teenage Engineering and all that. But I think people feel like, and I've said this multiple times, but I'll say it again. People feel like we use our phones to like book cab and like buy groceries and all that. I don't think that's true. I think we use our phone sort of like a drug delivery device, right? Like if you watch Brave New World, the TV series, or you've read the book, it's by Aldous Huxley. They have this drug in the book called Soma, where every few hours they keep popping this drug and they feel better. It's like to curb, anxiety and boredom and whatnot. I feel we use our phones in a similar way. You're bored, you're slightly anxious, you pull out your phone, you scroll. I'll tell you a stat, okay? If you're 18 years old, you will spend the rest 93% of your life scrolling your phone. Can you believe that? So most of our time goes in consuming content. and we consume content to load up on dopamine because our lives are slightly boring, and whenever we feel bored or anxious, we consume this content. With the Rabbit R1, they're removing that. They're saying, no, this is not a content exploration device. You're not going to be able to binge watch videos here, but you'll be able to book cab and do utility stuff. I think you do maybe max 5 minutes of utility work a day on your phone, maybe 10 minutes of utility work. Therefore, I believe that they're going to find the retention time is too low and people are going to go back to their phones. Because see, I understand if this is the only device in the world, right? Maybe this is the first set of phones, then it would get some, good traction. But I think people already have phones and those phones already do more. Now, what is unique about them is that large action model, which I can guarantee you, firstly, somebody's already now made it open source, right? They've made a large action model open source. Secondly, why wouldn't a Google or an Apple do this? It's so obvious for Siri, right? Like this is what Siri is supposed to be, and Apple just is revamping that entire team. So I don't know how they'll survive long term against that. But also, if you can build hardware once and you can do all this, you can eventually find a niche that you'll work in. So I'm not very bullish on the first version, even though I'm sure they'll sell. Like this looks great as a collector's item. I'd buy it just to be like, I own this. And I'm sure you'll sell maybe 100k units on the fact that it's a collector's item. But beyond that, I have no idea. Have you guys seen the Playdate? This is also made by Teenage Engineering. Okay,
Dude,
Teenage
I
Engineering
love Teenage Engineering. Their design aesthetic, like what they do is like super cool.
Dude, I'm making a full video on Teenage Engineering. Do you know Teenage Engineering has one of the highest gross margins in the world?
Really?
For hardware? Yeah, because think about it, right? Look at what they've put inside this. This is roughly $199, 16,000 rupees. This toy with old games, those old games, you'll find these toys in Indian stores for 200, 300 rupees. You can buy it before you go on an aeroplane and stuff like that. It's really cheap. So imagine the margin, because they're like, hey, I'll do it, but I'll make it cooler. And you should see some of their like speakers, and they have a tape recorder for 1.2 lakhs.
Yeah, I've seen them.
But that tape recorder looks so good. It looks so good that you're like, wow, I want to buy this. Like, it's called, try OP1. No, it's not OP1. It's TP7, sorry. TP7. Sid, you will love Teenage Engineering. I'm surprised you haven't seen it because you like music, right?
Yeah. I've heard about them, but I haven't really dug deep into them.
It's just a tape recorder.
Very
it's
cool.
like the old tape recorder you can buy for 500 rupees. It's 1.2 lakhs. But it looks so good. It feels so good. And you should read the writing, okay? Go down. I want you to see the writing. See how they do sales. Go down. There's this thing called off the record.
The interview is going quite well. The situation gets heated. You suddenly ask some personal questions. In that moment, you gently place a finger on the reel and pause the recording, allowing you to continue the interview off the record. Very artsy.
So people would buy the Rabbit R1 because it's a nice collector's item because Teenage Engineering has made it. And it's a good way to get like a $200 Teenage Engineering product.
But is the delta that big? Like, why can't I just do this on my iPhone? Why do I need a separate device for it? Like,
I don't think the delta is that big.
It's not.
It's more of a collector's item, I feel.
The thing is, if LAMs work, then they're in trouble because Apple will do it and Google will do it. Android will do it. If LAMs don't work, then, well, they're lost. That's why Apple goes last. Apple's like, let me see what everyone else does. Let's take the best features and pretend like we made it revolutionary. Like, I still don't forgive Apple for coming out and saying, we are now introducing spatial computing. Where Meta was like, metaverse, AR, VR, and Apple was like, no, I'm going to invent a new term. It's called spatial computing. It's the same damn thing, but they're like, I'll reinvent this for the masses. And now Sony has started calling their device spatial computing device because Apple's already named it. So yeah, but I'm not very bullish on the Rabbit R1. But I like the team.
The product looks very cool.
All right, friends, that's for today's episode. If you enjoyed that, hit the like button. Follow us and follow 100x Engineers on Instagram as well. Thanks, Siri, for joining us. Thanks, Varun, for generating awful images of me and saying it looks exactly like me.
It looks exactly like you.